Hi, I'm Dave Wurzel, and you're watching PHTV4 Spotlight. Today's Spotlight is on education, and specifically, we're talking with Eric Olsen, principal at Stagg High School. And Eric, thank you for coming in this morning. Talking about education is our summer topic, right?
Right.
There's sort of a break from education, but not really. I know a lot is going on in the high school now. So again, thank you for taking time to come in. I know there's a lot going on at Stagg, and we'll hopefully get a chance to talk about that. Before we do that, I know you've told us before, how long have you been in education? Because I know there's some years here now.
We're getting on some years. So I believe I'm in my 29th year in education now. Yeah, so it's
Congratulations.
Just finished off my 20th year at Stagg. Finished up right around my 19th year as principal. Yeah.
Okay. Well, congratulations. What was your subject area before?
So I was English.
You were English?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
there it
English.
is.
See, right there.
Perfect.
Knowing that you're an English guy too.
Right answer, correct answer.
Right.
1,000 bonus points for Principal Olsen here. All right. Some of the topics I'd like to talk to you about, it seems like every year education faces certain challenges. In some cases it's curricular, some cases it's budgetary.
Right.
Can you talk about what are some of the things either going on at the national or local or maybe state level that are impacting education in your school district now?
Right. So really, Dave, kind of looking at the national level, right? Anyone who's watching the news hears a lot of discussion about the Department of Education, right? And potential moves to either downsize or to dissolve the Department of Education. That's really kind of up in the air at this point. The legislators, I don't think really have made a decision as to their next steps. As a district, the district doesn't receive a ton of funding from the Department of Education, but we receive some, right? So we're kind of monitoring what's going on with that situation, but there is no really kind of initial fears from a funding standpoint. And then obviously there are also federal requirements, federal mandates for schools to do certain things. And so we kind of monitor and kind of stay really abreast of any sorts of changes. But to date, there hasn't been anything significant. So we just continue to monitor there. A lot of changes often come from the state and the state legislatures. So really much of that has passed, is on the governor's desk now to be signed. And those things that are affecting schools really are more from a management standpoint, really not a ton of things coming down that directly impact students in their daily lives. There's some things that are out there that are regarding students in very specific situations, but generally speaking, for the experience of students and parents, it's pretty much status quo moving in.
Okay, so we're not looking at new curricular expectations or?
No, nothing at the state level.
Okay. Now the other, and I get your update. I know there's a lot of projects going on at Stagg right now. Do you want to touch on a couple that they all need to get done? I think probably before school starts in the fall. Correct?
That's the goal every time.
Right.
So really for us, we finished a very large expansion project, and so that was actually completed at the beginning of second semester last year. So the major construction is done.
Did the kids move in second semester?
Kids have moved in.
Nice.
Everyone's gotten very comfortable with it. It's
nice
been,
classrooms up there.
Really nice classrooms. Has really eased the congestion in the building. Everyone's really pleased with it.
It is fun. That's an area we sometimes don't think about. We think about classrooms and the equipment or the space that kids have access to. Movement in the hallways is a big deal, especially a school the size of Stagg.
Right. Getting kids from point A to point B in an efficient way.
And that was part of this reconstruction or renovation project.
Right. It really provided students access points that they didn't have before, which then alleviated the congestion. And we felt it immediately.
Good. I'm sure the kids appreciate, maybe not in a celebratory way, but that they can get places easier.
They noticed. They noticed without a doubt. But going into this year, a number of different maintenance projects going on. Probably the ones that our students will notice the most is in one portion of our school we're getting rid of all the carpeting, replacing with tile. That's a phased project that we've been doing over the last few years. So now in the 600s, 700s building, now all of the carpeting is being replaced with tile, which is really nice. Same tile that we've used in other classrooms and has worked really well. So that's probably one of the most visible things.
Right.
We're also doing some hallway work to brighten our hallways.
Painting type?
Yeah,
work?
painting. We are replacing some ceilings in some hallways to kind of open them up a little bit more. We
Okay.
had done that last year, and it really has a nice effect on the school environment. Just brightens things up and just makes it a little more welcoming.
I'm going to ask, this is a weird one, but I'm going to ask because I saw it on your thing. As a homeowner, these are the kind of things that drive you nuts because they have to happen, but there's no visible, the boiler refit?
Yeah, the boiler refit, right? So
We're going to be warmer in the winter?
well, that's the goal, right? It's more preventative. Our boilers are old,
Yeah,
right? It's an old building, and so really the retrofitting isn't the actual full removal of the boilers, right? But it is the component parts, the things that are attaching. They need to be upgraded.
Yeah.
And what people often don't realize is there's a lot of technology that's involved
Yes.
with that too. You have to have systems to balance and
Right.
and
Well, when you think about
computer
all the
systems and all
classrooms,
that.
all the offices, all the gyms, all the different spaces, that's a major project,
Yeah.
obviously. And again, if you have equipment that's starting to age, and,
Right.
Yeah. I want to ask you: are there any new curriculum or initiatives going on so that when kids show up in the fall, this is going to be a little bit different than it
Yeah.
was last year for them?
So a couple of things. In the world of curriculum, we're really excited. We are partnering with College Board, who runs advanced placement courses, advanced placement testing. One of our teachers, Veronica Troska, has been working with College Board and their Kickstart program, which basically is College Board has a Kickstart program to identify courses in areas of careers that will be in high need. And so Veronica is our AP Computer Science teacher, and so next year we will be piloting for College Board AP Cybersecurity.
Wow.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. We have a number of students who are really interested in that field, and so we're really excited to be a part of that program.
Congratulations. I mean, that really is. I think, as you're saying in my head, I'm thinking we've done so many shows here where we talk about scams, the way people are targeted, and anybody in the public has experienced this through their computer, their laptop, their cell phone, whatever. Cybersecurity, I mean, yes, that's got to be at the front of what we have to manage now.
Right, and whether it is in the public or private sector,
right,
cybersecurity is critical, and so really, this course will afford the students the opportunity not only to learn about generally what cybersecurity is, what it looks like in the public sector and in the private sector, but actually, we'll be participating in things that analysts do, right, to ensure that network frameworks and all of that remain safe,
protected. Yeah. What a great program. I mean, it sounds like the type of thing that everybody should be. All schools should be part of in some way. Well, congratulations on getting a pilot for that program. Anything else? I think there was one other thing you mentioned.
Yeah,
this
so
is interesting.
Yeah, so in our strategic framework in District 230, right, we've focused on a number of things, right, and so one of the things that we'll be continuing at Stagg High School is focusing on our freshmen on track. That's students, our freshmen, after they complete their year, that they're still on track for graduation. And this past year we were very successful in that regard. We'll be continuing our efforts there. And then also focusing on attendance, student attendance, which all schools have been really, particularly coming out of the pandemic.
Right.
And so a major change that our students and families will experience is the district has changed its attendance policy going into next year. And so whereas previously, all a parent would need to do is just call in no matter what the reason, and there wasn't a limitation to the number of absences a student could have. Generally speaking, the change in the policy for next year is going to be defined excused and unexcused absences, meaning the reason why a student is absent, and then also limitations in the numbers, or the number of days that a student can be absent without having some sort of documentation. And then if a student exceeds that, right, then there are some academic penalties that may come into play with that as well. So, not to dive into too many of the details, we did an initial communication out to our families at the end of the school year. Stagg High School specifically will be putting out more information this summer. So we're really hoping that our parents and our students pay close attention to those communications, because that will be a major change.
Right. And obviously we know how important it is for student attendance and student achievement in the classroom. With the policies you're saying now, how different are they prior to? Because I know when we went through the pandemic, that impacted some of this. Are the policies now like the policies prior, or are they even beyond that a little bit?
Yeah,
what you're saying?
they are like they were prior to. Actually, the policy change that occurred in District 230 occurred just before the pandemic, and so we would be going sort of 2 steps back. To a policy that's very similar to when you and I were teaching, right? And the way most high schools in the area have, which is providing a limitation as to the number of absences. There's always exceptions, obviously for
we know this isn't a draconian thing here.
Right.
It's, if there's an excused reason or a doctor situation involved, or, a serious health issue. And obviously attendance and student performance are so closely linked that, that makes really perfect sense. So it sounds like you've kind of addressed it. These are your goals going forward then this next year. All right, I'll turn away. Now I'm going to give you the serious question.
Right. Okay, here we
It's summer.
now you are. Okay.
How do you recharge though? Because I know your job is a year-round job. Summers are still crazy busy in high schools, right? I'm hoping you get a time to recharge, energize up for the next school year. How do you do that, or what do you have coming up?
We get a little bit of time off.
A little bit?
Right? A little bit of time off. Really, it's spending time with my family. We're going to be heading out on vacation shortly.
Good for you.
And so get to spend some time with my wife and my boys, and kind of get away from school a little while. And
I know your kids are getting older now, so to be able to take a family vacation, this is probably a pretty special thing.
Yeah, no, it's really nice. Yeah, we're going to do a Canadian road trip.
Nice.
Head up north, and then
good time of year to head up north too.
No, it definitely
Temperature-wise,
is.
weather-wise, I think you're going to get some nice breaks up there.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. So that's our little breakaway, and but there's a lot of work that gets done during the summer in the schools, and so it's all in preparation for.
Well, that would be my other. Will you be able to relax, or are you going to worry about? Are they, or you're going to be getting phone calls or texts, which might be a serious distraction also.
You know what, I have an absolutely incredible team working with everyone at Stagg, right? So they're all very experienced administrators, and so they really have no problem managing.
It's got to be a wonderful feeling that you can trust them and know it'll be okay. I could take a few days here and everything. Yeah. Well, good. How about one final question for you? So you said what, 29 years? Is there 29 head of 20? That's a lot of years, and obviously you're still smiling about it. So when you head into this next year, what are you looking forward to?
You know what? Really, I'm looking forward to continuing to refine the work that we're doing. I really feel that over the course of the last few years, we have been heading in a real positive direction at Stagg. our student body, coming out of the pandemic, right? We had the bumps and the hurdles that everyone else experienced, but I feel like we've really turned a corner in the last few years. Our student body is energized. Just last year we were one of the final 4 student spirit sections in the state. There's an energy that's in the school, and it's not necessarily a time to change everything that you're doing, right?
Right,
It's taking a look at those things that are working and just continuing to refine them.
Yes.
And so I'm really looking forward to, now that lots of big initiatives are completed, now refining what it is that we do each and every day to have a positive impact on students' everyday experience.
And it sounds like those things are in place and happening. I'm going to congratulate you again. As you're talking, I'm thinking about over the last couple of years, the students and teachers and coaches I've interviewed at Stagg. What you're describing is 100% true. The energy level, the passion, and there are great things going on.
Yeah.
Your students and your teachers and coaches they're doing some incredible things.
Amazing.
Really.
Amazing.
Well, good luck in the next school year.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Enjoy your trip north. It sounds like a great family opportunity.
Without a doubt. Well, I appreciate you giving the time and us being able to share all the good things that are happening at Stagg.
I'd love to hear it.
Awesome.
I'd love to hear it. I'm Dave Worslow. You've been watching PHTV4 Spotlight. Today's Spotlight has been on education. We've been talking with Principal Eric Olsen from Stagg High School. Thank you for watching.